I love a sprint race, guys. I really do, because whenever there is one, in the main race, we see some incredible action between Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen, and it was no different in Brazil. We saw an incredible on-track battle between them, and in this video, we're going to discuss it and how it changes the championship. Now, if you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and also subscribe for more Formula 1 content. But without further ado, let's jump straight into the video. So first of all, let's take a look at how the race panned out and how we ended up with an incredible fight between Verstappen and Hamilton. So at the start of the race, Hamilton started in P10 and Verstappen started in P2. And it was very much advantage Red Bull when the lights went out. Verstappen was able to get Bottas off the line and was able to take him into turn 1. And then Perez on the run down to turn 4 was able to go down the inside of Bottas because he went wide, so Bottas dropped down to P3. So overall, it was a much better start for Red Bull. The track conditions were warmer and they were clearly able to fire up their tyres better than what Mercedes were. So Red Bull were 1-2 at the end of the first lap, but Hamilton also got off to a flying start. He made a few positions in the first lap, and then he was able to clear both Ferraris and quickly found himself in P4, and then Bottas was never going to hold Hamilton up. Now, even though Bottas was a few seconds up the road, he slowed down nicely to let Hamilton through, which was a nice thing for him to do. So it was just within a few laps that Hamilton went from P10 to P3. So an amazing start for him, and it was really game on for him in the race. And what helped Hamilton even more is that the safety car came out, so that bunched up the whole field. Now, on the restart of the safety car, with the straight line speed Hamilton has been showing this weekend, and also up until that point in the race as well, there was no way Verstappen was going to go early because it would leave potentially him and definitely Sergio Perez vulnerable to an attack from Hamilton. So Verstappen waited until the start-finish line to go, and it worked nicely for him because there wasn't much of a run down to turn 1 from there, so he was able to stay in front and Perez was able to stay behind him. But Hamilton really closed down on Checo as Verstappen was pulling away, and we saw a great fight between Hamilton and Perez, and we even saw at one point Hamilton get past Perez, but then Perez re-overtook him going into turn 4, so a really good fight between them. But eventually Hamilton got through and then started to hunt down Verstappen. But we saw the charge sort of fade out a bit. We saw Verstappen and Hamilton's pace become very similar, and the gap was maintaining around 3.5 seconds. Then Hamilton decided to undercut Verstappen. Verstappen pitted the next lap and just about covered off Hamilton. Now, during that stint of the race, it was very close between Verstappen and Hamilton. The gap was around 1.2 seconds on average, but Verstappen was able to hold off Hamilton, and he decided to put off the undercut on the Brit this time. Pitted first, then Hamilton pitted a bit later and came out behind Verstappen, but he was absolutely rapid this time. So this is where the race became really exciting, because Hamilton, as I say, was just so quick, and it was going to have to take a mega job for Verstappen to keep him behind. On Hamilton's first attack, he was going on the run down to turn 4, had an amazing slipstream, DRS wide open, went round the outside of Verstappen, but Verstappen was really late on the brakes, held it down the inside, but they both ended up going off the circuit, and Verstappen was just able to stay ahead. I mean, that was really on the limit racing. Mercedes complained that Verstappen had just crowded Hamilton out. Red Bull said that it was really hard racing, and the stewards did note the incident, but ultimately they decided that no investigation was necessary. But Hamilton went for another attack into turn 4 a few laps later, and he was as close as he was on his previous attempt, but this time Verstappen decided to weave a bit, try and break the slipstream, and it did work because Hamilton wasn't able to get past. But for that, Verstappen received a black and white flag. But on the third attempt, Verstappen stood no chance. Hamilton was so close to Verstappen off the exit of turn 3, and with the straight line speed that Mercedes had, it was always going to be easy for him to get past Verstappen going into turn 4, being that close, and he was able to pull it off, and it put Hamilton into the lead. Verstappen put up a really good defensive job to keep him off for that long, but in the end it didn't work for him, and Hamilton was able to go off into the distance and win the race. Now, in my opinion, this race changes the championship. I mean, going into it, Verstappen was 21 points ahead of Hamilton. And at the start of the race, Verstappen was starting on the front row and Hamilton was starting in P10 and has faced so many penalties this weekend. So you would have thought Verstappen would have found a way to win and extend that lead even further with just 3 races to go. But despite Hamilton effectively picking up a 25-place grid penalty this weekend after being disqualified from qualifying due to his DRS not complying with the rules and then taking an engine penalty, his speed has just been phenomenal. You can't fault him this weekend. He has been absolutely superb. And full credit to him, he drove an absolutely amazing race to go from where he was to first. And instead of Verstappen increasing his championship lead this weekend, Hamilton has reduced the gap to 14 points. So it's very much game on again. And on top of that, some of the tracks coming up could really suit Mercedes. So things are looking up for Mercedes now after the Mexican Grand Prix, where it looked like Hamilton's title chances could be in trouble. But guys, what did you think of the race and what did you think of that epic fight between Verstappen and Hamilton? Let me know in the comments below. But that's going to be the video from me today. Thank you ever so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe for more videos, and until the next one, take care